Hey, I'm Dave Watkins, Watkins Films. I recently got a copy of Species 2. This was released by Scream Factory. It's one of their 4K UHD collector's editions. Unlike some of their previous collector's editions, this one doesn't have a poster on their site. It also doesn't have original artwork. This is the original theatrical poster. It does have a slip that comes with it, which is pretty nice. But the same artwork on the slip and the inside. And on the disc. And there are two discs. There is a Blu-ray and a 4K. Now the Blu-ray has a lot more of the special features on it. The 4K only has the movie, I believe. Yeah, the movie and audio commentary. Now I saw the first Species film in the movie theater in 1995 when it first came out. Now, what struck me about this movie is it's not necessarily a good movie. It is a B movie, but it is entertaining. But it also has a very impressive cast for this type of movie, including Ben Kingsley, Michael Madsen, Forrest Whitaker. It introduces Natasha Henstridge as Syl, the alien antagonist. And what happens in the movie is they receive some alien DNA from an alien species that they assume is not hostile. But then once they start to they develop the DNA into a little girl who quickly, I think within a few days becomes a woman, and then she goes out trying to mate. And while she's trying to mate, she kills the guys that she has sex with. And but so I think that what was interesting about this movie is that the mixture between an impressive cast and this alien gruesome gore stuff, and then the sex scenes, plus a pretty good bit of nudity from Natasha Henstridge, which I approved of at the time, and I still do. But as far as the Species 2, this is the first time I saw this movie. What was interesting about it, this one was released in the movie theater in 1998, so not too long after the first one. But I never saw it in the theater. I guess I never really considered it, even watching it at the time. But this one had the same budget as the first one, like $35 million. And really, when you're watching it, you do see most of that on screen. It's there. And even on the second watch of the first one, I didn't like this one as much as I did the first time I saw it a long time ago. But I still like it pretty good. But it wasn't as amazing as I remembered it. But this one is obviously not as good as the first one, but it's not as bad as a lot of critics say. I think on Rotten Tomatoes, which Rotten Tomatoes kind of sucks anyway, but it says it's 9%. I mean, I think that's a ridiculously low score for this movie. This movie, in a lot of ways, delivers upon the first one, and it expands on it. It goes a little bit different route. It has, instead of having the female alien, that has a guy who's an astronaut. When they go near Mars, he's infected with the same alien DNA. But instead of him, when he comes back to Earth, he starts getting multiple women pregnant, and they immediately have the kid. And then it kills them. They bust through their stomach like Alien from the Alien movies. And then they immediately have a kid, and he takes the kids and he goes and hides them places. Several of the actors return, the ones that survived, like Michael Madsen and Marge Hellenberger's character returns, and Natasha Henstridge, who's pictured on the front cover, but she is not the main antagonist in this movie, but she has an interesting part to play. Her character in the first movie dies at the end, but here what they've done is they've cloned her and to study the alien species, but they got her in a building with glass all around, so she can't escape, or they think she can't escape. But they're studying her, trying to figure out what they can do to stop this alien invasion if it starts to happen again. Now, this starts out in a way that you don't think it's going to be gruesome like that, like it was in the first one. You don't even think there's going to be nudity. The first time it shows Natasha Henstridge, she kind of is is naked, but she's got this blue strap on her. So you're thinking, okay, well, I guess they're just not going to have the nudity like they had in the first one. But no, that's not the case. When he goes to have sex with these other women, I mean, there's a lot of at least there's a lot of boobs and stuff shown. You don't see much of Natasha Henstridge's nudity in this one. A little bit near the end, but it's not as much of her as in the previous version. And probably something in her contract. I'm sure she didn't want to just keep doing nude scenes. Now let's take a look at the specs of this. So it says new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. Now that to me, it sounds like they did some work to it, which it shows in the movie. It looks very clean, but there's also a lot of detail left in the faces, and the flesh tones look very natural. The blacks look very deep, and then especially when you see the night scenes, it all looks very nice. And some of the CGI in it, I've kind of gotten a little used to CGI, but some of it's not the best. But there are some practical special effects in here that are very impressive, that they try to mix those two together, and it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. Now, I think that 9% Rotten Tomatoes score is uncalled for. I mean, come on, it's not. I mean, it's better than 9%. I mean, it's not Citizen Kane, but it does what it's supposed to do here. I think they really had high expectations for this movie if they're going to rate it that low. But I thought it was fun. I'd recommend taking a look at it. And if you do take a look at it, I would recommend this specific Scream Factory 4K version. I'm Dave Watkins. If you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it.